Screen here. All right. So now we're officially on record. I want to welcome everyone to being a part of one of our webinars for Owens Community College. My name is Amber Sherrick. I'm the instructional designer here on campus. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns regarding Blackboard design, getting more material in your course, or finding a new or innovative way to share content or material with your students. Today we've gathered together, I sound like a preacher, but we've gathered together to talk about the Blackboard update, which is coming May 9th. Is that correct, Mark?
That is correct.
Okay, so all of May 9th, the whole day, we will be down. Blackboard will be completely unable to be used. Is that correct?
That is correct. It's possible that we might see it before early evening, but it will be down most of the day, May 9th, Wednesday.
Okay, fantastic. Oh, all right, here we go. Should anyone experience any difficulties during that transition, please feel free to let us know, reach out to us. We'll do our best to help you as quickly as possible. It should be a seamless transition, and I'm going to address the number one question that I've had come up from a lot of people on campus from the face-to-face demonstrations I've given. Will my Blackboard course from this software translate over to the new Blackboard that we will get on May 9th? The answer is yes. You will be able to copy your course over. I always recommend exporting a copy of your course just for your records, as we do archive a lot of the courses or disable the courses so they don't take up so much space on the server. But please make sure that if you have any concerns about that or would like some assistance, let us know, reach out. We're always happy to help everyone. But today we're going to be discussing the new Blackboard coming our way. I know a lot of you are somewhat excited about it. Some of you are a little apprehensive, which is why I've tried to make as many demonstrations as possible for everyone. If we could take note that we're inviting everyone to take a peek at our staging server. This is where our newer version of Blackboard is housed. So if you'd like to take a moment and write this URL down, as well as the username and the password, you should be able to access the staging server on your own using the demo user account. I would recommend going out and taking a look, giving it a test drive, as I call it. It seems to, oh yes, take a photo with your phone, or we can put it in the chat. Whoops, as soon as I get there. Or Mark, could you type in the URL and username and password in chat, or should we?
I can do that.
Okay, thank you very much. Or take a photo with your phone, that does help. So please feel free to give it a go. If you use a mobile device, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. If you use an iPad, and I'm thinking of Miss Kristen Price, I know you love your iPad, so go ahead and check it out, see what it looks like. You'll be surprised. We're going to talk a little bit today about some system updates and some fixes, some things that many of you have known were issues with our previous version. Talk about the new course menu and some of the colors and changes that you'll see in our newer Blackboard, as well as some new content item features, how students can upload their assignments, how we will be able to view their assignments, the video collaboration, which everyone's using here right now. All of our Blackboard courses come summer will have Blackboard Collaborate in them. So you will be able to use Blackboard Collaborate with your course. It's a huge, huge thing. A lot of folks, I'm hoping, will use it. If you have any questions, we'll have some trainings coming up on that too. We'll also have some new grading features as well. We'll talk about those in a little bit. And once we run through the PowerPoint of the overview of changes coming your way, I will give you a quick overview demonstration with our staging server as well. So the first thing I want to really make sure that we emphasize here is that we are going to have a new Blackboard theme. Now, what I mean by theme is that the icons will change slightly, the colors will change slightly, and the course menu default color is also going to change. Another one of the interesting issues and fixes that we've seen come up is the announcements. How many of you have had announcements where you've quickly typed them in and clicked the submit button, only to be reminded that that date restricted button was checked by default. Well, thankfully, Blackboard's finally fixed that. Announcements will no longer be date restricted by default. They have the not date restricted radio button checked by default. A plus for our students, we will have more support for Microsoft Edge. Many of our students may not even know what browser that they're using. So Blackboard has extended Blackboard support for browsers like Microsoft Edge. Some other interesting features, the discussion forums. We used to have to go and back out of a discussion forum in order to go to a different thread. We will no longer have to do that. Both instructors and students will be able to navigate from thread to thread or from post to post, as some of you may know it. Like I said, the icons have changed. They've become very pale and translucent or even transparent colors. So they're basically outlines rather than the actual color icons. And they've done that to be more ADA compliant, but also to increase mobile compatibility. And we'll talk about the screen responsiveness here shortly. A really neat feature many of you will know is the submit and cancel buttons. I'm sure some of us in here have done the struggle of scrolling all the way up a page or all the way down a page to get to the submit or cancel button. With the new Blackboard update we have coming, we will no longer have to do that. The submit and cancel buttons are pinned on top of every page that you would use them in. Another neat item, we have a drag and drop area. I call it a hotspot for dragging assignments or PDFs or even file folders we'd like to attach to a content item, or students can use it to submit their assignments. We can even use it for web links as well. For those that use assignments and have students uploading papers or documents or pictures, we will now get submission receipts. We can also send reminder emails through the gradebook to our students for assignments or tests or quizzes that they have yet to take. And no longer will we have to go to the email tool to do that. We can do it right from the Grade Center, which is very convenient. One huge issue right now is that we have changed the course design. The default course design no longer has the red buttons in the course menu. That has changed to become text-based and using dividers between particular sections. I do want to emphasize to everyone that the buttons and themes that we used to have are still available. You can use them. However, we don't encourage that, especially if you have students that access your Blackboard page from a mobile device, whether it's an iPad, a tablet, their telephone, or cellular phone, I should say nowadays. That can really make your Blackboard page look very user-friendly. That's the best way I can put it. If you ever have the chance, I can show it to you. Unfortunately, I could not get this video to load, so Mark, I won't be able to show people that unless I try it in the sample course.
No problem. Amber, may I add something here?
Of course.
The question that we get often that you referred to earlier is, will my current courses copy over? Will everything transfer over? And it will. And whether you do a course copy or export and import, if you copy your settings, and one setting in particular, you'll notice when you check the box to copy your settings, or maybe you just select all, there's an option for navigation settings. So if you are currently using buttons and you check and navigation settings is checked, it's going to copy your course with the same look that you're currently using. If you leave off the navigation settings, then your new courses, your summer courses, etc., will be using text links. If you had a chance to look at your summer courses yet, you'll see what it looks like as a text link. So once again, not copying navigation settings will retain the text links. If navigation settings is checked, you will get whatever you currently have.
Thank you. Thank you
Sure.
very much. I think that's a very good point, and I do know that there are many people who do choose to use the buttons, but we definitely wanted to make sure that people know buttons and themes are still available. However, due to decreasing mobile compatibility, we do not encourage the use of the buttons. We are encouraging the text-based course menu. Uh, Another reason is also because it can also increase your course's ADA compliance as well. So let's start by discussing some of the course menu structure changes. Many of you are used to seeing the announcements, then course info, course content, my grades, discussion board, and so on and so forth. You're going to see some changes and additions to the course menu structure. First and foremost, if you've, like Mark said, had a chance to look at your summer sessions and your shells in Blackboard, you'll note that the course menu structure is already there. The Start Here area is a new content area where you can add introductory items for your students, welcome emails, course navigation instructions, a list of things to do to get started in the course. This is helpful for many students who have never taken a web course, and it's always helpful for all new web course students, just in case they're not familiar with your particular subject area. The syllabus is also what we used to have as course info syllabus, so we've separated those two. So now we have a Start Here and then we have a syllabus area. The announcements, that's going to remain the same, and we always encourage you to use that to communicate with your students. A new course menu item is interesting. It's the course instructor information. This is a direct tool linked to the contact tool located in Blackboard, and we've made it so everyone can just go to this page by clicking on instructor info, and you'll be able to upload your contact information and even a profile picture of yourself to help your students better understand who their instructor is, other than just the information which is in your syllabus. In addition, the instructor information page is a great way to give your students a quick link to your email and your office hours as well, should you have them. And it's always important because some students may think that we're online 24/7. Some of us are, but not everyone. Moving on, we're going to go to course content. That's remained the same, where many of us have become accustomed to putting our course materials, whether that be lectures, assignments, web links, resources, whatever you decide to put in your course, we have the course content area as for you still. The web meetings, the Collaborate conferencing tool that we're using now, this is an area where you'll be able to upload Collaborate conferencing sections. So as I alluded to earlier, you'll be able to use this Collaborate tool in each and every Blackboard section that you have, and you'll be able to create a tool link to your own Collaborate session. So should you choose to have a synchronous session with your students, to have a live lecture, or even to hold virtual office hours, web meetings will be a great area for you to put a link to Blackboard Collaborate for your students. Discussion board has not changed. We've just renamed it. Instead of it being discussions, it's now discussion board. The My Grades is still the same tool link to the course grades for each student, which instructors do not have a view of unless we use our student preview button. Some more new course menu structures. This has been we've had a huge positive response to this direct link to email tool. Students will now see in their course menu a send email link, where when they click on this link, they'll be directed straight to email rather than to go through the previous way, which was course tools and then locate out of the many different course tools that were there to find the email. We have still included course tools, however, they are specifically for instructors, as by default they are hidden from students. So the page where students used to have to hunt for their email feature to contact you as the instructor, they don't have to do that anymore. However, the course tools is still there for you as the instructor. And should you choose to make that available to your students, you can, of course. Student help and resources has been renamed from just student resources. We've included the word help because we are now adding additional technical and academic supports to the page. We can discuss those in a little bit when I show you the course and the student help and resources page. But we've included specifically some links to Blackboard's browser check and frequently asked questions for students in the event that they might need assistance when either the instructor or the help desk is unavailable. Our final addition, which is also another positively welcomed change to our course menu, was a direct link to the self-enrollment web course preparation. Every course now has a direct link in the course menu for all students to be able to participate in the web course preparation. No longer is it just in the home page for Blackboard, we now have it in each course. This is a positive change, one, because there are many students who have never taken a web prep or a web course, and they might need that orientation but weren't quite sure how to get there, or they may not have been aware of it. Two, it's also something that can help you as the instructor by assessing your students and making sure that they are prepared for their course, and this is a great tool for you to be able to use for them. I'm going to move forward. We're going to go a little bit back to the assignment features. We'll talk some more about these in detail. Like I alluded to earlier, students can use what I call the hotspot. It's a drag and drop feature, which I will demonstrate for you, where you can upload a document to the assignment page. Once a student does that and they actually submit their assignment using the submit button, they will receive a confirmation receipt number and they will be able to access that. So they will know for certain that their assignment was uploaded in Blackboard. I'm sure some of us are nodding our heads and saying, well, that's great, because we do have some students who aren't quite sure if their assignment was uploaded. Yes, it's a nice tracking feature for us as well, because we'll be able to view submission details for all student assignments using the reports in Grade Center. Many of you have reached out to us previously in January, especially I think it was around January 15th, when our assignment preview, what's officially known as Crocodot, was terminated. They called that the end of life date for the Crocodot or assignment preview. We have also upgraded Blackboard because that will allow us to have what we call the new box tool. That is the replacement for Crocodot, and once again it is up and running in our test server, so you can play with that if you'd like and get familiar with it as well. Should you have any concerns about using Box, please feel free to reach out to us as well. This inline grading or assignment preview tool Box is very nice because it allows quite a few different types of files to be uploaded, which you can preview in Blackboard, whereas Crocodot was more restrictive in the file types that students could upload. Does anyone have any questions so far?
If you do have questions, feel free to type them into the chat window, and if we get a lot of questions, we will just answer them in the order that they come in.
Or if you have any comments, you can always add them in the chat as well. If you like or dislike something, it's always important for us to get a feel for what our faculty need. We're here to support. Okay, like I said, we are welcoming the new preview and assignment tool called Box. It will replace Crocodot, which we no longer have, and I know some of you were very upset about, and we apologize wholeheartedly. We can't control when Blackboard decides to end the life of a tool. Like I said, though, I will provide you the upgrade Box features. You'll be able to see that. Another thing, like I said, the Blackboard Collaborate, I cannot emphasize that enough. I think it will really be a great addition for all web instructors and even those land-based instructors who may have a student that falls off the radar, doesn't seem to ever want to come to class. this is another way for us to be able to reach out to our students and keep them in the loop and try to keep them successful and on task.
Amber,
We
may
will be.
I add something?
Oh, of course.
I'd also like to add that we acquired Collaborate really just in time, because another tool that Blackboard is discontinuing is the existing chat tool. The if it's kind of confusing. It's called Collaboration, and you'll see virtual classroom, or I think it's called online office hours. Well, that will go away when we upgrade, but you will have Collaborate if you, in the very least, want to just use that as a chat tool. You will be able to. And that's all I had.
Okay. That should say May 9th, not Ma 9. May 9th. My apologies. My fingers were trying to type and I hit the enter button very quickly. But like Mark said, we will see that virtual chat, virtual classrooms area going away. That is something that is being discontinued in favor of the Collaborate. Blackboard's actually ended support for the virtual classroom or chat. Was that correct, Mark, or was that more of a
Correct.
technical? Okay, I just wanted to make sure I'm giving the right information here. We will have some upcoming training sessions for Blackboard Collaborate. In addition, I also have in the sample classroom that I'll show you in our staging server, there's documentation in the content area you'll be able to download as the preview or demo user, which you can look at prior to these training sessions coming up in May. But keep posted to your email and also the O News, as we will broadcast those times and dates that we'll have in May. And I believe we will have some in June as well for those who have classes that start after June 11th as well. The final thing I'd like to make sure that everyone's aware of is we have some additional grading tools, and the actual view of the Grade Center has changed as well. I think I saw Randy pop in here, but for those that have already previewed this Grade Center, it is a little bit more of a modernized feel. The cells and the columns are a little bit larger, so it's not as hard on the eyes, if you will, but that can be complicated depending on the size of your monitor. So please be aware that, like I said, the screen responsiveness I talked about earlier will hopefully help expand your Grade Center. If you happen to use multiple monitors or a larger screen, you should be able to see a larger classroom, or excuse me, a larger grade book. I also talked a little bit briefly about reminder emails. If you have an assignment or a quiz that some students haven't taken and you see the due dates coming up, you can actually go into the new Grade Center, click on the little edit circle, which most people know it as the gray circle with a white V in it. It's called a chevron. If you click that, you'll get the pop-up menu that comes up for that column. There's an additional tool in that pop-up that comes up, and it says send email reminder to students. That email reminder will go specifically to those students who do not have a logged attempt for their assignment or for the quiz or test that is for that column. So it cuts out all of the abilities of the instructor, or I should say all of the effort the instructor has to do to go through the grade book, look to see which students haven't taken that assignment or test, and then send them a mass emails explaining that that's an assignment that still needs to be completed and that they have not completed it yet. The other and last feature I'll just talk about briefly, like I said, viewing student assignments, and you'll also see the submission receipt numbers using the reports feature in the Grade Center. This is a new tool which will allow you as the instructor to be able to see a student's uploaded assignment and the receipt number, so you can verify with the student that that was their assignment that they uploaded. So hopefully this will help cut down the I don't know if my assignment was uploaded correctly or I had issues uploading my assignment problem that some of us do seem to have with students. Sometimes it is a browser, other times it's due to the file itself. We just want to make sure that we're trying to provide as much support to our students as possible. This takes out a few steps by being able to just go quickly to the reports feature, see that assignment and the receipt, and we'll be able to see how big the file is too, and whether or not it's actually, if the integrity of the file has been compromised. Are there any questions or concerns before I go into the actual demonstration or the viewing of the drumroll please staging server? Goodness, you guys are quiet today.
I think Mary has a question. Go ahead, Mary, if you would just type it in the chat window. And if you haven't found the chat window, the lower right-hand corner, there's a pop-out chevron or arrow that you can click on, and then click on the chat bubble, and you'll be able to type your comment or question in there. Amber, the question is about, will participants be able to see the first half hour on a recording?
Hi, Mary. Actually, yes. Will we be able to review, review this presentation? Absolutely. We are recording this session and we started at the very beginning. Once this session is completed and the recording's been uploaded into our Blackboard Collaborate, we will put a copy in our faculty resources area, and I will email everyone to let them know when that's up and running in the faculty resources. It will be in a course menu area called Blackboard Updates, which will also have additional information and a copy of this PowerPoint, web conferencing tips and tools, a brief overview of the more technical specifications of this upgrade. There's a lot of good stuff in there. It was hard to pick and pull the highlights. And I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page. We will have lots of material up there for you to look at. Of course, everyone is very, very welcome. All right, we are going to switch modes here. I'm going to go back over to my screen sharing here, and some of you can see some people's faces. That's nice. All right, now we're just going to go to screen and boom. All right. Now, per some individuals, I know this may look a little distorted on your screen, so bear with me here. As I said, we will have the URL and the username and password where you can actually go in as our demonstration user and play with these features and tools yourself. As you can see, this is the home page now of your Blackboard, which has the newer and updated Owens Community College icon in the top left. The brands of the colors are here, and the familiar tabs are here. You'll also note that the My Courses and announcements and registration resources look very similar. However, the text colors for hyperlinks have changed. They're no longer the lighter blue, they're the more darker blue. However, a new addition, if you were to put your mouse cursor over the color of the hyperlink, it does change. So you as an individual will be able to see that it is a hyperlink. And so if you were to look at your course and you were hovering over it with your mouse, same as before, simply click on the course and it will redirect you to it. This is the sample course that we have up and running for you to go and preview in our staging server. So feel free to go in and check it out. It's not a problem. There's nothing that you can break in this course that I can't fix. But as you can see, the sample course menu, the color has changed dramatically. This is now a very dark, obscure gray, and the text is white. And if you hover over it, it changes so you can see. And that's actually something I still need to change, is make that text a little bit lighter so there's more contrast. But all of the course menu links that you have that we discussed previously are here, and they're all functional, with the exception of the web course preparation link, because that's linked to challenge accepted. Yes, that's actually to our production server. So that's just a dummy link right here for the web course preparation. If you use it in the production server with the summer sessions shells that are there, wow, say that fast 5 times. Yes, it is able to be used, and you can get redirected to the web prep course. Actually, Mary raised a great question. Is there a grade center? Everything has stayed the same. All the tools are still present, so you still see your control panel, the course collection, tools, evaluation. All of the tools have stayed the same. The grade center is here, of course, and you can see as you move your mouse over it that it does highlight, so you are able to tell where you're at in the course. But I'm going to start from the very beginning. Like I said, we have our Start Here area, and when you open that up, I've put some dummy information in here so everyone can see. Lori asks, is Safe Assign still a course tool? Absolutely. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. I keep forgetting you're back there. These are some sample pieces of information. Should you go into this sample course in our staging server, you are more than welcome to use the sample template document for the welcome. You can take these links if you'd like. You're absolutely welcome to do so. In fact, I encourage it if you would like a quick template for helping you develop a new web prep course, or a web course for yourself. The announcements course menu area, I won't go into grave detail about. The syllabus as well. What I will show you is the course info, instructor info, and you can see Dave Doolittle, my fake instructor. I've created a contact card for a fake instructor, yep, by going to create contact and clicking on that tool. What that does is opens a contact page for you to enter your information. And you can also now see here, well, this will disappear, but you can see the cancel and submit buttons as I scroll up and down the screen. They're always on top. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Well, once again, going back to the contact card, you can add your email, work phone, office, location, hours, and even a brief professional blurb about yourself, if you will. Course content, going back to the menu, that is still going to remain the same. Should you investigate the course content area, you'll see that there are a few sample, or like I said, dummy links. And there's also a copy of the Blackboard update documents here as well. I've got a copy of the PowerPoint, some information about how to collaborate using our web conferencing tool, the transition from our old grading assignment feature to our new one, as well as some practice exercises for you if you'd like to use on more information on Collaborate. There are a couple different ways. Some people like to set their information up by content area, such as tests, quizzes, assignments. You could also do it by week of the course. These are just some suggestions to help people get started when they're creating a web section. Moving forward, I will show you our web meetings area. In order to get a web meeting started using Collaborate after May 9th this summer, you would go to Tools and More Tools and click on Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. Once again, I will go do a few trainings actually on this coming up in May and in June, so there's more to come on that. The discussion board will stay the same. However, like I said earlier, it's gone from discussions to be discussion board. This is the neat feature a lot of people seem to like. When you click send email, it goes directly to the send email tools where your students will be able to choose what type of users or single or select users that they would like to send an email to. The student help and resources, I'm going to click on that to briefly show everyone some of the additions and links that we've added here. Students now are aware that there's technical support as well as academic support. So we've subsectioned this web page into two specific areas so students can delineate the types of support that they might need. We've put technical support on top, and students are able to see a hyperlink to checking their browser's compatibility in Blackboard. If a student clicks on this, it opens up a new page in Blackboard where they will be able to see if their browser passes inspection, and it will work well with Blackboard. Otherwise, it provides information on what you can do to help bring your browser more in line with Blackboard itself. I don't think we have time for a survey. And nobody's got time for that. Close that out. We also have our Blackboard tutorial page, help for students, links to the help desk where they can submit a help desk request, software. In addition, we have academic resources, library. All tutoring centers are located here, all academic success centers. Disability services, Title IX information, incident reporting. We're trying to put the word out and make our students more aware of the resources we have on campus. Sometimes it's just as simple as putting it on a web page. Mark, do you want to take that question Scott put up there? That's a very good question.
On emails, the actual email accounts go outside of Blackboard. So through Blackboard, there is really no way we could monitor any communication exchange between students.
That's another great question, Kim. I think if student help and resources, pretty much everything that's mandatory in our syllabi, can it be removed? Mark, do you have information on that?
I don't, in terms of what is required or policy-wise to put on a syllabus. I mean, just my own opinion, I would probably want to retain it. Maybe keeping it in multiple locations is better.
Mm-hmm.
Scott's question about group email. Yes, faculty members can modify the email options that are available to students by going to your control panel. I believe it is in the tool settings area of the control panel. You'll see email settings, and then you can make group email, or even the ability for them to email each other in the course. You can make that unavailable to them.
A great addition, Kathy. Kim's question about mandations of student help and resources. And I agree, multiple locations can become inconsistent, but Kathy makes a comment about making sure you check with the department chair. I would say that's a very safe bet. I would definitely check with each department chair to make sure that your syllabi are up to the departmental specifications. I'm going to move forward a little bit here as my mouse wants to work or not work with me. I'm going to show you a sample box preview assignment. That's another good question. I will get to that in just a second, Sarah, because we don't have Respondus in yet. But as a student, I will show you what box might look like if you were to submit an assignment. If I go to the inline grading and click on this sample assignment here, it'll open up a page eventually when my browser gets to it. And I will submit a new assignment, which I've created. Here, if I chose, I could use the Browse My Computer, which I have a ton of stuff in here. Actually, this is a new computer for me, so bear with me. I could take any one of these and I could drag and drop, or I could highlight by clicking on the file. Oh, this browser doesn't want to do it. And clicking open. So my apologies, my computer is not exactly up to its normal speed. Yeah, it's a little slick. An assignment can be, yes, added to any area, and we still have our assessments button up at the top on any course content area, Mary. Now, if a student were to submit this as their assignment, if I click the submit button here, you will now see a green receipt across the top, and you'll see that there is an alphanumeric code. I'll highlight this here. This is something that students can write down and keep a copy of, so that way they will know that their submission has been received by Blackboard. Lori asks if the dashed lines mean drag and drop. Yes, that means there is a drag and drop area, or as I call it, the hotspot. If you, as a student, and we're not quite sure because there are a couple of discrepancies in our staging server, if students will be able to utilize a hyperlink in this message. So we're encouraging all instructors to let their students know to save this number, to write it down and save a copy of it somewhere as a web student, whether they copy it and paste it into a Word document. But what you'll see here, and I'll have to refresh this screen because it's still being converted. This is the new Box feature. Box has a specific number of tools where you can use these to either put inline comments, highlight, or even draw on your students' assignments. Right now, I'll exit the preview and I'll show you what that looks like from the instructor's perspective going through the Grade Center. Go back. My mouse clicked too quickly. All right, here we go. So here are some of my sample students, and I've changed to look the Grade Center a little bit larger. Now, as you can tell here, there's one particular assignment, the circle with the yellow background and the exclamation point. These icons for our Grade Center have not changed. They still do indicate for us as instructors that there are assignments that need manual grading. This is a picture or an assignment that needs manual grading, so I will look at this assignment by clicking the chevron or the gray circle with the V and going down to look at the attempt submitted by this student. That will bring up that page I just showed you from the student's perspective, but you'll also see some additional tools, which the drawing tool, I don't see it here, but you'll see this comment box or point annotation box where you can select this tool and create a comment. Let me find a different one here. Multiple comments. Sarah asked if multiple comments can be made. Yes, I'm trying to find one that isn't actually a picture, it's an actual document. I just put a lot of different ones in here, so as an instructor, if you use this demo, you can go in and see that there are more than one thing. Here we go. Yes, Bill the cat. As you can see, the point annotation, you can click, make your comment, but you must click post, otherwise the comment doesn't post. You can also use your mouse, click and drag. If you see just the cursor, you can click and drag to highlight text like you would in a normal Word document. What is going on with that thing? Bear with my mouse. My apologies, everyone. It's acting wonky today. All right, we'll just roll with it. If I've highlighted a particular area of text, now I can either get the text tool or the highlight text tool. If I want to highlight the text I just selected, I can simply click this. But then, in addition, I can also make a comment by clicking on the text box next to it. Now the student will be able to see that certain things have been highlighted and whether or not there's a comment over the top by taking their mouse and just hovering over the text that's highlighted. As the instructor, you may not see that unless you actually click on the highlighted text. So for those of you that are used to using Crocodoc, you will no longer see the line or the bubbles on the right-hand side or the left-hand side in making those annotations. You'll more than likely see this view here. If you experience any issues with it, we encourage you to let us know right away so we can try to work with you and make sure everything is functional. There's another tool Box has which is similar to what Crocodoc had, and that is a drawing tool. You can choose to use this tool and draw or strike out text. I would be careful though, it is a little sensitive to your mouse. But you can always save or delete, and even if you make an error, you can still cancel your annotations. You'll also be able to print a copy of the assignment as well as download it. I will caution everyone now as an instructor, if you attempt to download a copy of your student assignments, they will not contain the annotations. No, Lori, the comments will not print at this time. That is something I believe Box is working on bringing up. And you also asked the question earlier, do students have the Box app or software to upload? You should not have to upload any type of software to Blackboard. Box is like Crocodoc was. It's in Blackboard and it's part of Blackboard. Any other questions regarding Box and its use? Feel free to put them in the chat box. Okay, we're running low on time, so I'm going to fast forward a bit to our full Grade Center to show you some of the highlights here. As I said, the Grade Center has changed slightly. I know a couple instructors were not pleased with the way it looks, but once we were able to change the screen responsiveness, meaning the size of it, it worked out. You'll still be able to add your grades in the normal fashion by adding the point total manually or going through and checking the submissions. You'll be able to also use all of the previous tools that we had before. But the one feature I'd like to call to everyone's attention is the submission receipts feature under the reports section tool. By going to reports and clicking on submission receipts, oh yes, you want to argue with me. By going to the submission receipts page, if you wish to see all of your student submissions in your course, you must make sure that next to the username, the drop-down box next to username should equal not blank. It has to say not blank, and you must click go in order to see all of your student submissions. Otherwise, they will not appear. But as you can see, here are all the confirmation numbers of all of the attempts of assignments that were uploaded, where they were uploaded, the date and time, as well as the file name and size that was actually uploaded. So this is a great double check feature for us as instructors, as well as for students, to make sure that their assignments were received properly by Blackboard. The other thing about Grade Center that I wanted to make sure everyone had awareness of is the send reminder to students. If you go to any particular grade column and click on the gray circle, the chevron, the pop-up menu comes up where you can edit your column or make changes to its properties. The second one down says send reminder. So if I were to click this, it will ask me if I want to send a reminder to 6 students who have not submitted their assignment. If I click OK, this will send a reminder to all 6 of the students listed in the sample course that they have not submitted an assignment attempt for this column. So that's a great feature for us as instructors to help students and be on the front line to make sure they do their assignments in time. Mark, are there any things that I missed or glossed over that you feel or think that we need to get into greater detail on?
I don't think so, Amber. I've tried to tell faculty members that I've talked to that, a lot of the changes are really more in the cosmetic area, and um, the student's ability to view this on mobile devices and to be more ADA compliant.
Mhm.
And I was frankly surprised when we talked to Blackboard about how many students on a daily basis are actually using mobile devices to access their courses. We were I think it was during the fall semester, it was a few hundred students. So it will actually benefit them a
Mhm.
lot, I think. But no, otherwise, I think you've covered the
There is,
major.
oh no, I apologize for interrupting. Sarah actually asked a great question, which I believe Lori's answering her, which is fantastic. Thank you, Lori. Sarah asked the question, she's downloaded the Owens mobile app. Will this update the Blackboard features on May 9th? That's not a question I have an answer for. Do you, Mark?
Blackboard sends us reminders every time we need to upgrade any building blocks, and the mobile app is a building block. And I don't know this for a fact, but I'm guessing we will have to upgrade that as well. But that doesn't affect Blackboard. It doesn't affect its availability. It's generally a very quick thing for us to upgrade.
Thank you, Mark. The last thing I do want to make sure that I illustrate for everyone is the reason why using buttons may not be a great idea for the new Blackboard. First of all, I'll show everyone what the screen responsiveness looks like in my browser, which is on my laptop computer here. If I go to the minimize and I make my browser window smaller, if I drag it and I shrink the screen or expand it, Blackboard adjusts, as you can see here, to make it mobile friendly, screen friendly. I know there are several of us in this here. I know several of us in here will use mobile devices to access their Blackboard as well as the students, and it actually looks a lot better on mobile devices than our previous version of Blackboard. So if I were to expand this once again, all I would have to do is open my menu, my course menu, which students would be able to use their finger and swipe if they have a touch screen, which I'm using my touch screen so you can see it's just a simple touch. Kristen asked a question, feedback we give on students. Will any of it appear in the My Grades, or will they have to click the assignment? They will still have to click on the assignment and hover over it to read the point annotations or the highlighted text comments. So I do not believe any of those feedback comments will appear in My Grades. So they will actually have to click the assignment to read it.
Amber, Scott also had a question about what does the default reminder email text look like when you go through the Grade Center to send a reminder? I don't know, can you maybe pull one up just to see what it types in as the default message?
I sure can. I'll do my best here. I think I've got Maisie Margaret, so let me send a reminder. I'm sending a reminder to myself, so bear with me as I go through the, oh, darn it.
Oh, okay, I thought it actually showed the message. It's generally just a very brief message, I think, that informs a student, whatever the column name is, you have not submitted an assignment or for this appropriate column. I don't know if it's going to be too much trouble to pull one of those up yet.
Well, I apologize. I closed out my browser, so let's see if I can get you squared away here, Scott. Oops, it's my son's email. Bear with me. I put a personal email on here so that way I could just get to it quickly. And I'll have to give some information here, which hopefully I remember my password. If I cannot find it here by trying one time, Scott, I will get back with you and I'll put that information out there as well.
I'm wondering if one way to find that out is when you go in as a preview user, um, and you don't submit it, if it will send it to your Owens account.
That's a good question. Let's see here. Wonder if that's going to go to my spam. I hope not. Nope, I'm not seeing it here. So I must not have my email linked to it, Scott. I will get a dummy account. I have my student account with Owens, and I will make sure I can get you a copy of the default. And Mark, can you repeat that one more time? I was trying to multitask and failing miserably. What was the question you had asked?
The question, Scott's question?
No. Was there another question that I missed?
I don't think so. I had
okay.
blacked out on it too.
All right. Kathy says, so it's a generic message, not a personalized or classified message and reminder. It's a generic message stating, I would assume it states that X, Y, or Z assignment has not been completed. This is and provides a due date if you do provide a due date, Kathy. So once again, once I can find a default email reminder, I will definitely post a copy of or a picture of that in the faculty resources under the Blackboard updates so everyone can see it. But that's a great question. Oh, you're absolutely welcome. Anything I can do, I'm definitely going to do my best. Before everyone goes, I know that we're kind of short on time here for some folks. I did want to show you what happens to your course menu should you decide to use buttons. Excuse me. You can still go to your teaching style menu. You can still change the background. You can still do everything you used to do. But if I were to select buttons, which going to the button library, let's just say I pick green. I click submit. Okay, here's my buttons. And a receipt saying, yes, I got my buttons in. Now I'm going to make my screen just a little bit smaller, but watch what happens to the course menu as I shrink this screen here. You'll see that the text on the buttons becomes distorted and offline. You can see that, everyone? As I shrink the screen more, it still stays on top, but it slowly, because the screen is trying to wrap the text, it doesn't keep the text on top of the buttons. So students who are using a tablet device, for instance, this size, and they happen to expand their course menu, even if I were to close this and open it back up, yeah, that's a nice comment, Lori. It's a hot mess. It can look, yeah, it's, well, the green doesn't exactly look appealing either, Matt, but it is definitely not visually pretty. So we do encourage using the text versus the buttons, but we do know a lot of instructors like buttons, so we did not want to take those options away from you. I can tell you that if you don't like your changes and you want to make a quick repeat back to the default, simply go up to what I call the NBC fan next to the student preview eye, as I call it, click default, and it sends it right back to the way it used to be. So you can always leave it as the original should you choose. Are there any other questions or concerns that I can answer for anyone at this time? I know we're at 3 o'clock and I know people have busy schedules, so I don't want to keep anyone in case they need to leave. Mary asks, where is the assignment button? Will you get a confirmation email about the reminder? I'll address Mary's question first. In terms of the assignment button, do you mean that the assignment, ooh, ugly. Do you mean the assignment button under assessments? Because that has not changed. Where can I link to the Grade Center? Okay, I'll show you some things, and there are some tweaks, and like I said, this is a sample course. I've used this for a couple of testings. If you go down to the Grade Center, Mary asked, well, how can I get right to the assignments for the Grade Center? Click on Grade Center like we used to do, and you can click still on the Assignments Smart View link, and that will just bring up your assignments. So as you can see here, that's where you can get to your assignments. So underneath the Course Management Grade Center area.
Amber, Mary, I think she's asking how to create an assignment that links to the Grade Center.
Okay, that's a different animal then. Gotcha, I understand, I believe. Mary, to create an assignment, you can go to the Assessments button in any course content area of Blackboard, go to Assessments, and click on Assignment to create your assignment. Then you add the name of your assignment, any instructions you want for your students. Rubrics, you can use the drag and drop too, so that's the fun part, and it turns that hot purple color. Or you can browse your computer to add a new file or rubric, add the due dates, grading. Lori made a comment earlier about whether or not Safe Assign will still be available. Yes, it will be. So all of that information will still be readily available to you as an instructor once our upgrade takes place. When you're finished putting in the parameters for your assignment, Mary, just click Submit, and that assignment will show up in your course content area, like the ones that I've created already. And you can see that the icons are very transparent. So Scott asked, will they get a confirmation email afterwards that they attended the webinar? I did not make any confirmation email. However, if you would like one, I'll be more than happy to create one and send it to you, letting you know that you have attended this. Okay. So I will make sure that I put a note, which I just did. And Kathy's gone, but I appreciated her comments. Thank you. Heidi's giving clap. Awesome. Are there any other questions? Mary, yes, that assignment will show up in the Grade Center. It automatically creates a link. Would you like me to show you the assignment in the Grade Center, Mary? Okay. So here you can see I have sample assignment, student handbook quiz. These are assignments or quizzes. If I go down to the Grade Center and I click on the Grade Center, which you can see that's overriding, it automatically, when I create a new assignment, creates a Grade Center column with all of the parameters, as I call them, added to the Grade Center column for us. Here's the student handbook assignment. And even above where my mouse is, it shows you across the grade information bar how much the assignment is worth, the name of the assignment, and how many attempts you've submitted and who needs graded. Same thing for the inline grading box preview assignment. Does that answer your question? I love these emojis, Mark. These are great. We're going to have fun with these.
That's right.
Are there any other questions? Anything anyone would like me to demonstrate?
Well, we appreciate everyone, your willingness to participate in this session, and it looks like it could be a popular option, and we can continue with these in the future as well.
Okay. When will the recording be available? We will email everyone. Let's see. It takes some time for Blackboard to process the recording depending on the size. And I would say by early next week, it should be up, just on the safe side. Let's say Monday it should be up. Would you say that's a safe date, Mark?
I think so. Collaborate is new to us, so we haven't had a lot of exposure to know how long it takes to get the recordings, but I think Monday's a very safe bet.
Okay. I just want to make sure if there's anything that we need to edit in the recording that it is there and taken care of prior to posting it for everyone, Mary. So we'll say by Monday it should be up and running. Okay. In the chat, I did include a hyperlink to our staging server. Remember to use demo_user, and then the password is Owens. If you use this link, it should take you in a new tab to the staging server. And if you use demo_user and the password of Owens, you should be able to access this sample course and test drive it for yourself. And if you have any questions or concerns, you can always email us. I've included my email address in the chat. You're always welcome to email me if you have any questions. I'm pretty prompt about my responses. So let us know if you have any questions, and thank you all for attending.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to stop the recording.